Good evening, folks. It's so great to see all of you. Chag Sameach. We've got around 17, 18 or so folks here in person. We're in the social hall. I'm Rabbi Matt Berger. It's really a pleasure to be with you. My family's right behind you. If the camera flipped over, you would be able to see them as well. Many thanks to Ed Marks, who is to my left. He will be running the slides for our virtual Haggadah. So this one's called Sharing Our Journey. Sharing the Journey, the Haggadah for the Contemporary Family. Some beautiful illustrations that you'll see throughout the Seder by Mark Podwall. And it was written by Alan Yaffe, who was a congregant of mine when I was a rabbi in Worcester, Massachusetts, which in the winter was the Buffalo of Massachusetts. We lived on the top of a big hill, and we were always snowed in. Lots of fun there. So he wrote this Haggadah. His brother is Eric Yaffe, who is the former president of the Union for Reform Judaism. And wonderfully, this was put into slide format for all of you to join in at home. So I invite all of you here, as well as at home, to join in and participate and sing as much as you can. It really is a pleasure to have you celebrate the second night of Passover with us here at Ahavat Shalom. We're going to begin with a song of celebration, Chag Sameach. Happy holidays. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Shiru Chag Sameach, shiru, 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 Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Shiru, 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 Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Shiru, 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 Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Shiru, 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 Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. Chag Sameach, yai la la la, ya la la. So the order of the Seder. There are a number of different parts to the Seder, and you'll see on the screen the 15 different parts of the Seder, but in emoji style. Emoji style. So from the first Kiddush to washing of the hands, the eating of the green vegetables, the breaking, the telling, the washing of the hands with the blessing, and so on and so forth. Finally enjoying that matzah after many, many minutes of the Seder. I love that maror, super hot horseradish, the korech, the shulchan aruch, getting down to eating, looking for that afikomen, and we will hide that later on during this sermon. The blessing after the meal, some words of praise, and then night, I don't know, maybe sleeping from all of the great food from Lynn's Catering, or the great food that you're enjoying potentially right now. So there's a song that you can sing for the Seder order, and it goes like this. Kadesh urchatz, karpas yachatz, magid rachza, motzi matzah, maror korech, shulchan aruch, safun barech, hallel nirtzah. So sing it along for the order of the Seder. With grateful thanks, we welcome everyone to our Passover Seder. Tonight, we will fulfill once again the Torah's instruction to remember the story of the Exodus from Egypt every day of our life. Whether we have many Passover memories or are experiencing Passover for the first time, we joyously tell the story of the Exodus as one community. So celebrating our time here together, we can sing Hine Matov, a song of harmony, how good it is for us to be together. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Dachim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Dachim Gam Yachad. How good it is to be together. How good it is to be together. Whoa, 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 whoa. Matov Manayim Shevet Dachim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov Manayim Shevet Dachim Gam Yachad. How good it is to be together. How good it is to be together. Whoa, 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 We're now going to kindle the lights of Yom Tov. Seems to be not set up, but I'm sure a lot of you have them at home. The blessing for the lighting of the candles, it symbolizes the lamps of our people, the spreading of light, joy, the knowledge of God's ways. When we light and bless the festival candles, we mark the joy that Passover brings into our home. And we can chant the blessing together for the Yom Tov, which is the great day of Passover, the holiday. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov. All right, for parents or grandparents who have kids with you, we have the blessing for the boys and the blessing for the girls. And I have my kids. I'm going to recruit them. Just watch your step with all the cords there. So first, there's the blessing for the boys. May you be like Ephraim and Manasseh. And then for the girls, may you be like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. This is Maytal, and this is Avi. So you first go with the eldest sons. Yisimcha Elohim Ephraim Uchem Menashe. May God bless you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And Samach Elohim ka Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God bless you like the sisters, the matriarchs of our people, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And then we continue with the priestly blessing, the threefold blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. May God's light shine brightly before you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God grant both of you and all the kids here and wherever you are with health and with peace as we say together, Amen. So we are already at our first of 4 cups of wine, fruit of the vine or grape juice you might have in your Kiddush cup. So you'd want to fill them up now if you haven't done so already. The Kiddush cup is always holding the wine or grape juice, and it's a symbol of joy. The wine that we pour, the grape juice that we pour into our Kiddush cup, is our hope for life's sweetness. Together, poured toward the brim, the cup reminds us of the fullness of our days. During the Seder, we drink 4 cups of wine, each symbolizing a different part or aspect of Passover. With the first cup, we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians. V'hotzeti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim, from the book of Exodus. And we can raise our Kiddush cups for the bracha, for the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, l'chaim, to life for all of you. And you can take a sip. And we go right from the first cup of wine to the Shehechianu for the blessing of our lives and for reaching this moment, enabling us to be here to reach this season. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. So this is the first of 2 ritual washings of the hands. So this one doesn't actually have a blessing. The one that we're going to do a little bit later on will. And it's just a symbol of purification, to symbolically wash away the thoughts of our daily activities and the slave mentality created by the many years of servitude that our ancestors endured in Egypt. No, I'm good, I have one. All right. And also because this is the second night of Passover, we are going to count the Omer. So the Omer, long ago when there was a temple standing in Jerusalem, people would come and make pilgrimage, and they would bring offerings of food or grain to the Jerusalem temple and offer them especially during the holidays. And you start this counting of the Omer, which is 7 weeks of 7 days, starting from the second night of Passover. And then the 50th night after 7 weeks is the holiday of Shavuot, which literally means weeks. So going from slavery to freedom and then ultimately receiving Torah during the holiday of Shavuot. And this is an ancient measure of barley. That's what an omer actually means. And there's a blessing that goes along with this, which is just literally counting the omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer, which is our praise to you, God, for the commandment, sacred obligation of counting this omer. Hayom echad la omer. Today is the first day of the omer. So we all need to, at the beginning of the Passover Seder, talk about the most important things on the plate. So this is the time in the Seder that you would either lift up certain parts or point to certain parts of the table. Our Seder plate, of course, we have the karpas, that's the green vegetable, the maror, which are the bitter herbs. Now, on most Seder plates, there actually is a shank bone. I'm vegetarian, so what I use is a roasted beet, because you are roasting the animal offering, and here you're roasting the beet. A roasted egg, so representing new life, and along with the parsley spring. That's the beitzah, and then the charoset, which is kind of edible mortar, reminding us of the Jews building bricks and then building edifices way back then, and that's our apple and grape juice or wine and nut mixture that we'll enjoy later when we create our Hillel sandwich. We also have a Miriam's cup, and that recognizes the role of Miriam the prophet, not only in the story of Moses when he was an infant, but also in terms of singing the Song of Freedom, and then later on, when the Jews were wandering around the desert, making sure that the Israelites had water to drink. Now we're going to move on to the karpas, so we're getting ready to eat very, very soon. We're praising God for creating the fruit of the earth, symbolized by the karpas. The first growth of spring. Actually, my kids, for religious school, they planted way back when in the winter the parsley, and I used it last night at our first Seder, and it was really, really good. We dip it in salt water, of course, to remind us of the bitterness of slavery. So I'm going to dip it, and I'll be right back. Okay, the blessing is for the fruit of the earth, if you'd like to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. Let's taste the bitterness. Even before the Exodus from Egypt, Jews celebrated the creation of life every single spring. The egg, like the parsley, symbolizes the beginning and the renewal of life. It's round, it really doesn't have an end, and it also represents the cycles of the year and the cycles of life. On each of your tables, you'll also have the plate with the 3 matzahs that we're going to use during our Seder, the bread of affliction. Because Jews didn't have time, when they were on their way out in such a hurry, to let that bread rise before they were able to cook it. And the 3 pieces of matzah are a reminder to us of God's covenant with the patriarchs and matriarchs of the Jewish people. We now take the middle slice of matzah at your table. We break it in half. You can hear that cracking. All right. And then, boy, we need one volunteer to hide this. Obviously not kids. Anybody want to hide this? Yes, I'm gonna enlist my wife Ida to to hide this. I would not put it in the basement because we don't have one. Don't put it on the roof. So somewhere on this floor, could be like sanctuary or anywhere on this floor. Thank you so much. This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. All who are hungry, come and eat. All who are in need, let them come celebrate Passover with us. May it be God's will to redeem us from all trouble and all servitude. Next year at this season, may the whole house of Israel and all peoples be free. And there's a great song, and some of you might know it, called Ha Lachma Anya. That's in Aramaic, which is a language using the Hebrew letters, but the grammar's a bit different. Ha Lachma Anya, Diachalu Ahavtana, Be'arba Dimitrayim, Be'arba Dimitrayim, Kol Defin Yete V'Yechol, Kol Dinsri Yite V'Yisa, Hashata Ha Lashana Ba Be'ara de Yisrael, Hashata Avde Lishana Ba B'nei Horid. And that's just the Aramaic of what I read, the translation before that. Many people will add an additional slice of matzah as a symbol of hope and the responsibilities of freedom. The second half of the middle matzah, which you can take out if you'd like, for the oppressed is a symbol of hope. For free persons, it's a symbol of the responsibilities of freedom. The story of the Exodus brought hope to many people as they faced their own struggles for freedom. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in the speeches, rallies, and marches of the American Civil Rights Movement, explicitly invoked the story of the Exodus. The Exodus is something of the story of every people struggling for freedom, the first story of man's explicit quest for freedom, and it demonstrates, Dr. King said, the stages that seem to inevitably follow the quest for freedom. And this is the power of the story of the Exodus, both as a historical story and a contemporary symbol of hope. For the younger ones in our group, or the young at heart, it is time for the Ma Nishtana, for the 4 questions. At our Passover Seder, we ask 4 questions. And we ask, why is this night different from all other nights? We're asking these questions because there's a pretty big change in routine during our Passover Seder meal. By asking and then answering these 4 questions, we explore the meaning of Passover for our children and, of course, for all of us at the Seder table. So, for the kids in the crowd and for the kids who are watching at home, start with the Ma Nishtana. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ma nishtana halayla ze mikol halelot. Mikol halelot. Shebechol halelot. Anu ochlin hametu matzah. Hametu matzah. Halayla ze kulo matzah. Halayla ze kulo matzah. Shebechol halelot. Anu ochlin she'ar yirakot. She'ar yirakot. Halayla ze maror, maror. Halayla ze maror, maror. Shebechol halelot ein anu matbilin afilu pa'am echat, afilu pa'am echat. Halayla ze shetei hamim. Halayla ze shetei hamim. Shebechol halelot anu ochlin ben yoshvinu vein mesubin, ben yoshvinu vein mesubin. Halayla ze kulanu mesubin. Halayla ze kulanu mesubin. Why is this night different from all other nights? On all the nights we eat bread or matzah, but why tonight only matzah? On all the nights we eat all sorts of herbs and green vegetables, hopefully to be healthy. But why bitter herbs tonight? On all of the nights, we really don't dip herbs in any condiment. Maybe some do, but usually not. But why do we dip them not once but twice? And finally, on all the nights we eat sitting upright or reclining, but why on this night do we chillax and chill out and use a pillow, maybe even leaning a little bit like free people? All right. So my pleasure now, I'm going to invite Suzanne and Jim Pincus over. Yes, I'm going to put on my mask. And they're going to read one reading, and then we're going to sing one song, and then they're going to read the reading right after that.
Nights. We celebrate tonight because we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, and God delivered us from bondage to freedom. Had our ancestors not been redeemed from Egyptian slavery, we, our children, and our children's children would have remained slaves. Even if all of us were wise and educated by our study of Torah, it would still be our responsibility each year to tell the story of our deliverance from Egypt, to dwell at length on the remembrance of our exodus from Egypt on Passover is considered praiseworthy.
Why on this night do we eat only matzah? Matzah symbolizes both slavery and freedom. Matzah is our bread of affliction. It is a symbol of our rush to freedom, the food we ate when liberated from Egyptian bondage. When our ancestors rushed to leave Egypt, they did not have time to wait for the bread to leaven. During Passover, we eat matzah to remind us of our enslavement in Egypt and of the divine help we received during our exodus.
Thank you, Suzanne and Jim, so much for leading that reading. And I don't know what slide we're on, but let's go back to Avadim Hayinu. This is one of my favorite songs to sing during Passover. Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. Avadim Hayinu, Ata b'nei chorin, b'nei chorin. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, and God freed us from Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. So now we'll continue the reply to the 4 questions by talking about maror, the bitter herbs, which represent, of course, the bitterness and harshness of slavery. We eat these bitter herbs later in our ceremony so that we will never forget the bitter taste of reflection. Why do we dip herbs not once but twice? Karpas, that's the greenery, so that could be the slightly bitter romaine lettuce or the parsley, a symbol of renewed hope and the promise of spring, reminding us that our ancestors viewed the hope and renewal through the tears of slavery. Later on in the Seder, we're going to combine the maror and the karpas to make that delicious Hillel sandwich. And Beth Burnett is going to come and read about why on this night do we recline when we eat.
Sure. Why on this night do we recline when we eat? A pillow on our chair is a symbol of freedom. Historically, slaves sat on hard benches or on the floor when they ate, forced to rush through their meal in order to return to work. For our ancestors, reclining on pillows or couches, eating at leisure, and engaging in conversation were symbols of freedom. Our pillows symbolize our ability to recline as free persons, declaring to the world that we will not be enslaved.
Many thanks to Beth for that reading about the reclining. And you'll see before you now 4 slides of you at home, some artistic representations of the 4 children. The 4 children. So let's talk about the 4 types of sons and daughters of Israel. The Chacham, the wise one, the Rasha, the wicked one, the Tam, the simple and pure one, and the one who isn't able to inquire or doesn't know what questions to ask. She'eno Yodea Lish Or. By answering the questions of all our children, we begin to fulfill the responsibility to pass on to a new generation the story of God's mercy and might and our hope for the future. All right, the wise one. What are the rulings, laws, and traditions that God has commanded us to us? The wicked one. The wicked one inquires, what is this service to you? The simple one asks, what is this? What's going on? For our sons and daughters who aren't able to inquire, don't know what questions to ask, we begin. You'll explain to your child or children that day, it's because of what God did for me when I went free from Egypt. The one who is wise, wicked, simple, and doesn't know what questions to ask resides within each of us. By fulfilling our obligations for the Seder, we learn more about ourselves and each other and make the story of Passover our own. The Passover story of deliverance and redemption has provided a shared sense of experience for the Jewish people for 3,000 years. Retold each year at the Seder, the biblical story continues to sustain and enrich our collective spirit. So let's sing some songs. And I have a couple songs which tells you a lot about the Passover story, and it's kind of an alternative to the many, many pages of readings that we might engage in as well. So Ellen Allard, who's a great Jewish singer-songwriter, has two really good Passover songs. The first one's called No, 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 and it goes like this. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, you gotta let my people go. Try it with me. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, you gotta let my people go. No more working in the hot sun, no more slavery, no more working in the hot sun, no. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, no, 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 no. No more heavy, heavy burdens, no more slavery, no more heavy, heavy burdens, no, 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 no. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, no, 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 no. No more screaming and yelling, no more slavery, no more screaming and yelling, no, no, no. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, no, 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 no. No more hungry bellies, no more slavery, no more hungry bellies, no, no, no. Pharaoh, Pharaoh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pharaoh, Pharaoh, no, no, no. All right, that was the first one. And the second one, this is also a really nice song, and it's called Baby Moses in a Basket. It's kind of like a story in song. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Yocheved gave birth to a strong baby boy and hides him as he starts to thrive. Soon she has a plan to put him in the river Nile, the only way he'll stay alive. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Miriam, her sister, loved her baby brother dear. She helps her mother with his care. When the boy is placed in a basket in the reed, she hides herself till he's found there. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Pharaoh's daughter finds the basket floating in the Nile. She knows it is a Hebrew boy. Miriam brings her mother in to suckle the child. Now Yocheved holds her pride and joy. Baby Moses in the basket basket on for baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Moses grew to lead his people to the promised land. God had chosen him to set them free. Without the love and courage of the wisdom of the Nile, they changed the course of history. Baby Moses in the basket on. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. Baby Moses in the basket on the river. Baby Moses in the basket on the river Nile. We're now going to move on to the 10 plagues. So we're going to recite each of the 10 plagues while removing just a little bit of the wine or the grape juice for each of these, and we're going to sing the Hebrew name of each of the plagues. I always like to remind people at the end, if you're going to use your finger or something like that, don't lick your finger at the end, because it's kind of like ingesting the plagues. So just wipe it on a paper towel or something like that, or your napkin. So it's blood, frogs, lice, wild beasts, blight, boils, hail, locust, darkness, and slaying of the firstborn. So you can repeat after me. Dam. Sifardea, Kini, Arov, Dever, Barad, Arbe, Hoshech, Machat Bechorot. After crossing the Red Sea, our ancestors celebrated with song, praising the omnipotence of God. Tonight, we recite part of this Song of the Sea found in the book of Exodus, and thank God once again for our freedom and for the miracle of splitting the Red Sea. So if you were tuning in on Friday night for the service, we sang Micha Mocha to the melody of Adirhu, God of Might, and we're going to do that again. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nedar ba'kodesh, no rak tehilot, o sefele, Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nedar ba'kodesh, Adonai yimlo leolam va'ed. And a bit about Miriam's cup. They have some great-looking Miriam's cups around. This is our Miriam's cup filled with water. According to the sages, God honored Miriam's bravery and devotion to the Jewish people by giving her a well filled with water, which miraculously accompanied our ancestors throughout their desert journey. Miriam's well quenched the thirst and renewed the spirit of our ancestors as they overcame the hardships of the Exodus. So this special Kiddush cup filled with water, Miriam's cup, honors Miriam's role in ensuring our ancestors' survival during their 40-year journey in the desert. And you can even take a sip of that water. All right, you know what's coming next. That is Dayenu. So first we'll do a little bit of reading and then a little bit of singing. Dayenu means it would have been enough. It's our song of gratitude. And it's a time where we can rejoice in the many blessings that God gives us today, and also the blessings that God gave to our ancestors when they journeyed from slavery to freedom. How manifold are the blessings and favors that God has given to us. Had God brought us out of Egypt and not divided the sea for us, then we would say, Dayenu. Had God divided the sea for us and not sustained us for 40 years in the desert, we would say, had God sustained us for 40 years in the desert and not fed us with manna, the miracle food, we would say, Dayenu. Had God fed us with manna and not given us Shabbat, we would say, Dayenu. Had God ordained the Shabbat, Sabbath, and not drawn us close to Mount Sinai, we'd say, Dayenu. Had God drawn us close to Sinai and not given us the Torah, we'd say, Dayenu. Had God given us the Torah and not brought us to the land of Israel, Dayenu. Had God brought us to the land of Israel and not sent us prophets of truth and justice, Dayenu. So now, let's sing Dayenu together. Ilu Hotzianu, Hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Natan, Natan lanu, Natan lanu, et Shabbat, Natan lanu, et Shabbat, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Natan, Natan lanu, Natan lanu, et Torah, Natan lanu, et Torah, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. All right, now we talk about the three Passover symbols. What is the meaning of Pesach? So the shank bone, or for my Seder plate, the roasted beet, reminds us that God passed over all of the houses and spared us on the watch night. When Pharaoh refused to release us from slavery, God afflicted the people of Egypt with the 10th plague, the slaying of the firstborn. The doorposts of our house were marked with lamb's blood, so God would pass over our homes and our lives would be spared. What's the meaning of the matzah? Matzah is unleavened bread that symbolizes slavery and freedom. It's our bread of affliction, lechem oni, and a symbol of the divine help we received when we are liberated from Egyptian bondage. As God saved us from all kinds of distress, so may God always inspire us with courage to remove every trace of bondage among all peoples. And finally, what's the meaning of the maror, the bitter herb? It reminds us that the lives of our ancestors were made bitter from the oppression of Egyptian slavery. As God has blessed us with freedom, so may God always inspire us to be messengers of God's word, those in need of hope. In every generation, each individual is bound to regard himself or herself as if he or she has personally gone forth from Egypt. And now our second blessing over the fruit of the vine. So you can refill your cups if they are empty, and then raise them. For the Kiddush, we remember God's promise to our ancestors and to every generation, the specific promise in Exodus, I'll deliver you from their bondage. V'hitzalti etchem me avudatam. We drink this second cup of wine to celebrate the survival of the Jewish people and how even in slavery we retained our belief in the one God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen chaim, to life. All right, so now we're going to break that top piece of matzah, and you can hand it out to those who are at your table, either here or at home. And this time we're going to do the washing of the hands with the actual blessing, which is for the raising of the hands. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al natilat yadayim. So the same blessing that many people do on Shabbat before eating the challah. And finally, last but not least, getting to the actual eating of the matzah, first with the motzi, and then for the specific blessing over matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz, who brings forth bread from the earth. And for matzah itself, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat moror. We can take a bite of that matzah. That is legit dry, right there, that matzah. All right, in preparation for eating the maror, the bitter herb, it's customary. Some people dip the bitter herbs into the sweet karoset, but not enough to take away from the taste of bitterness. By doing so, we fulfill the second dipping referred to in the four questions. Since maror is a symbol of bitter enslavement, and reclining is a symbol of freedom, we don't recline when we eat the maror. And the blessing for the bitter herbs, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat moror, for the eating of the bitter herbs. And right before we eat our Seder meal, which is going to happen in about 30 seconds, we put together that Hillel sandwich, which is the combo of the matzah, a little bit of that maror, the bitter herb, and then the sweet haroset. Hillel is actually the first name of my three Hebrew names. And we've already had all the blessings, so no additional blessings are needed at this time. And we say enjoy. And I'm just going to put a slide for those of you at home about eating the Seder meal. And then we'll come back in about, maybe 30 minutes, give or take, and then conclude the Seder at that point. So enjoy the Seder meal. So we're going to do the Afikomen search. We've got 3 kids here in the house. So the Afikomen search begins now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a winner for the afikomen. You just need to have a tiny little bit of it for the dessert. That's what it means. If you're still eating here or at home, no worries, just continue eating. But we'll move forward with the Seder. I hope you enjoyed the meal. I thought it was very good too. With the Birkat Hamazon, which should be the next slide. We're just doing the main paragraph. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hazan et haolam kulo b'tuvo b'chein b'chesed u'vrachamim. Hu noten lechem l'chol basar ki le'olam hasto, u'v'tuvo hagadol, tamid lo yasar lanu ve'yar yasar lanu, Mahazon leolam va'ed ba'avor shemo hagadol, ki hu el zanum farnes lakol, hu metiv lachol, hu mehin mazon lechol briotav asher bara, baruch atah Adonai, hazan et hakol. Thanking God for all of the wonderful food we've enjoyed. And we'll continue with the third cup of wine, remembering God's promise to our ancestors in Exodus, I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and great acts of justice. V'ga'alti etchem b'izro netuyah u'shfatim gedolim. And as we drink this third cup of wine or grape juice, we celebrate the holy bonds between family and friends and our sacred connection to all people, all ages, regardless of race, religion, or creed. May the goodwill that's found in each of us draw us closer to one another, strengthening the ties between us so we can help each other through hard times, as well as joyously celebrate good times together. When we lift our glasses, our Kiddush cups, for the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hargafen l'chaim, for the fruit of the vine. All right, so if we can have one person maybe open the door for Elijah. So here's Elijah's cup. Thank you. And I'm going to invite my daughter up, and she's going to help me with this reading. I'm going to get the microphone out for her as well. So we've decided that I am the child and she is the reader. Or she has decided that. Who is Elijah?
He is the prophet in Israel.
Why does Elijah come?
He comes in answer to Israel's prayer again and again. Throughout history, we have lived in exile, in tyranny, when might has conquered right.
Great job. Those are some tough level words there. Next level stuff. All right, Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. May Elijah the prophet come quickly in our day, bringing redemption and freedom for all people. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu agiladi, bimera ve'amenu, Yavo eleinu, Moshiach ben David, Moshiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hanishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi. Elijah has come to enjoy the rest of the Seder with us. Thank you so much. You can close the door. As a community, we give thanks for the teachings of the story of Passover, which we'll remember throughout our lives. And we give thanks for the symbols of Passover that inspire us to work for freedom for all. As a community, we give thanks to God for our deliverance from bondage in Egypt and from those who have sought to destroy us in every age. And for the reminder that in this world, God's work to create the Messianic age must truly be our own. As a community, we give thanks for the love of family and the gift of our extended family of friends and neighbors, and for the experience of this Passover Seder that brings us closer to God, to our families, and to one another. And I just brought one of the Hallel praise psalms, 117. Praise Adonai, all you nations, extol Adonai, all you peoples. For great is God's steadfast love toward us. The faithfulness of Adonai endures forever. Praise God. Hallelujah. And our fourth cup of wine, we remember God's promise to our ancestors, I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God, found in Exodus. V'lakachti etchem li le'am v'hayiti lachem le'elohim. We dedicate this fourth cup of wine to peace, to shalom. May the one who broke Pharaoh's yoke forever shelter all fetters of oppression and hasten the day when swords shall at last be turned into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks. And a special prayer for Israel. May the state of Israel, all people in the Middle East, peoples of every religion, race, and creed throughout the world soon experience the blessings of peace. May God be gracious to us and dispel the darkness of ignorance and prejudice from all peoples. May our country be a beacon of liberty and justice for all peoples. May we all be blessed with peace and freedom and be kept safe from danger everywhere as we lift our glasses. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Tonight we've given thanks to God by saying a blessing for the 4 cups of wine as we celebrated the sanctity of life, the survival of the Jewish people, the holiness of our bond to every family member, and the meaning of peace, of shalom. May the Seder provide us with new spirit and energy in the year ahead as we strive to meet challenges to life's sweetnesses. May all people soon know freedom and peace. And a word about Jerusalem and how we always say, L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the symbolic center of Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Each year at our Passover Seder, we renew our hope for the future. And tonight we once again affirm our commitment to partner with God and join one another to help repair the world. That's Tikkun Olam. At the beginning of the Messianic age, we look forward to rejoicing in Jerusalem with all peoples and all races and religions to embrace as one family the blessings of peace and freedom. And we can sing together, L'shana ba'a b'Yerushalayim, L'shana ba'a b'Yerushalayim, L'shana ba'a b'Yerushalayim, L'shana ba'a b'Yerushalayim. And let's take a moment to pause if you're eating, and we'll stand up to offer the words of Hatikvah, the Israeli national anthem. Kol od balevav benima, nefesh yehudi onia, uvatei mizrach kadima, I am the Zion Zofia. O lo avda tikvateinu, hatikva shnot hapayim, liotam hofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim, liotam hofshi be'artzeinu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. So long as within the inmost heart a Jewish spirit sings, so long as the eye looks eastward, gazing towards Zion, our hope is not yet lost. The hope of 2,000 years to be a free people in our land, in the land of Zion and Jerusalem. You can feel free to take a seat. So, long ago when I first met my wife, even when we were dating, I would go to her Passover Seder, and they sang a version of Who Knows One, Echad Mi Odea, in English, which is pretty cool. I really like it, and it's very catchy. And I put the lyrics in the Haggadah that those folks who are here in person and then you at home have. So it's an English version of Who Knows One. It goes like this. Who knows one? I know one. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows two? I know two. Two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows three? I know three. Three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows four? I know four. Four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows five? I know five. Five are the books of the Torah, four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ah. Who knows six? I know six. Six are the books of the Mishnah, five are the books of the Torah, four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ah. Who knows seven? I know seven. Seven are the days of the week. Six are the books of the Mishnah. Five are the books of the Torah. Four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. And one is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ah. Who knows eight? I know eight. Eight are the days of the circumcision. Seven are the days of the week. Six are the books of the Mishnah. Five are the books of the Torah. Four are the mamas, and three are the papas, and two are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ah. Who knows nine? I know nine. Nine are the months of the baby's birth. 8 are the days of the circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the books of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. This is the best part. Who knows 10? I know 10. 10 are the holy commandments. 9 are the months of the baby's birth. 8 are the days of the circumcision. 7 are the days of the week. 6 are the books of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the mamas, and 3 are the papas, and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows? 11. I know 11. 11 of the stars in Joseph's dream. 10 are the holy commandments. 9 of the months of the baby's birth. 8 of the days of the circumcision. 7 of the days of the week. 6 of the books of the Mishnah. 5 of the books of the Torah. 4 of the mamas and 3 of the papas. And 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God. One is our God. One is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Who knows? 12. I know 12. 12 of the tribe of Yisrael. 11 of the stars, Joseph's dream. 10 are the holy commandments. 9 of the months of the baby's birth. 8 of the days of the circumcision. 7 of the days of the week. 6 of the books of the Mishnah. 5 of the books of the Torah. 4 of the mamas and 3 are the papas and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Join now or forever hold your peace. Who knows 13? I knows 13. 13 are the attributes of God. 12 are the tribes of Israel. 11 are the stars in Joseph's dream. 10 are the holy commandments. 9 of the months of the baby's birth. 8 of the days of the circumcision. 7 of the days of the week. 6 are the books of the Mishnah. 5 are the books of the Torah. 4 are the mamas and 3 are the papas and 2 are the tablets that Moshe brought. One is our God, one is our God, one is our God in the heavens and the earth. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. All right, let's do a little bit of Adir Hu. We did the tune of Adir Hu before, and now we'll do the Hebrew for Adir Hu, which talks about God's might, and it's actually an acrostic. It has like Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, and so forth and so on. Adir Hu, Yivne Veto V'charov, Bimhera, Ve'amenu B'karov, El B'nei, B'nei Ve'cha B'charov, Bachor Hu, Gadol Hu, Gagul Hu, Yivne Ve'to B'karov, Bimhera, Be'amenu B'karov, El B'nei, B'nei Ve'cha B'karov, Hador Hu, Vatik Hu, Zakai Hu, Chasid Hu, Yivne Ve'to B'karov, Bimhera, Be'amenu B'karov, El B'nei, B'nei Ve'cha B'karov, Tahor Hu, Hakid Hu, Kabir Hu, Lamud Hu, Melech Hu, Norah Hu, Sagif Hu, Tzuhus Hu, Bodeh Hu, Tzadik Hu, Bimhe Ve'to B'karov, Bimhera, Be'amenu B'karov, El B'nei, B'nei Ve'cha B'karov, Kadosh Hu, Rachum Hu, Shaddai Hu, Takiv Hu, Yivhene Hodkarov, Bimhera, Ve'amenu B'karov, El B'nei, B'nei Ve'cha B'karov. And we've gotten to the end of our Seder, and we'll sing Go Down, Moses. So in this Haggadah, the words are a little bit different. At least the last one, when they had reached the other shore, let my people go. That was a new verse for me. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Thus said the Lord, both Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. When they had reached the other shore, let my people go. They sang a song of triumph for, let my people go. Go down, That's it for our Seder. I hope you have a Zisen Pesach, a happy and a healthy Passover week for all of you. For all of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next Friday for Kabbalat Shabbat services. Have a good night.